We're going to give you the facts and present a theory. And then you are going to have to draw your own conclusions and see what makes sense. You can't be a fact denier, can you? I mean, that's what Ahmadinejad is. He's a Holocaust denier. Here are the ovens. Here are the gas chambers. Well, I didn't have it. What? The facts. You have to look at the facts. You can't look at all the socialist groups on the site of the One Nation rally and say, socialist? Jesus, oh, that's crazy. Really? I believe that's called denial. And eventually, as an alcoholic, I know, eventually denial leads to death. We've come to this wall where we can't see our politicians or our presidents doing certain things, and it doesn't make sense to me. Here's the thing. We can't accept that maybe they have a fundamental disconnect with the values and the principles of the United States. Don't give me your blind trust. Don't believe anything that I say. Check it out for yourself. Take it and look at it. Explore it. Investigate. You be the master of your own destiny. You really believe something inside or not, or reject it, based on the fact. Let me show you how Webster defines fact. It's really quite easy. It is the quality of being actual. Actuality, something that has actual existence, an actual occurrence. Whoa, pretty hard to figure that one out. An example of a fact would be socialists and communists, revolutionaries, are lining up to support the One Nation working together rally. All right, look at their website. 4 days to go. You start to see all of the people that are sponsoring, and here you see on the side, on the website, Communist Party USA. It's not a shadowy conspiracy. It's on their website. It's also on the Communist Party USA website. Show that to me. Communist Party, there it is, One Nation. Okay, it's so hidden it's in plain view. This isn't just one bad apple that has crashed the squeaky clean list of sponsors. This whole site is riddled with socialist, revolutionary, nasty, I told you last night, people that would be in any other presidency, they would be on a FBI watch list. One socialist group after another. There they are. These are just some of them, riddled with it. All right. Well, here is a book that the president does not want you to read. The White House has come out swinging hard. The left, the media has come out and smeared Dinesh D'Souza. I don't know Dinesh very well. I will tell you that he is a man of great credibility. He's certainly not a racist, and he is certainly not a rah-rah America just to be rah-rah America because he was born here, because he wasn't. He is a guy just like you that's trying to figure things out. And I would imagine that, Dinesh, you believe things that you didn't want to believe when you first started this journey. True?
That's true.
Okay. The name of the book is The Roots of Obama's Rage. Dinesh is the president of King's College in New York City, so he's not just some yahoo. I wanted to bring him in, and I want you to, I'm going to push back on him on the facts, because I want to make sure that the facts are right and separate fact from opinion, because you may end up with a different opinion, but to get the facts right is an absolute must. Okay, so let's start with the problems and the facts, and then we'll get to your opinion and theory.
I think it's very good to begin with the facts, because my goal here is to understand and explain Obama. So I'd like to begin a little bit with his story.
Okay.
And I'll begin with Obama's father, this man, Barack Obama Sr. Barack Obama Sr. was born in Kenya. He came of age in Kenya's great struggle for independence against the British. This was called anti-colonialism, to push the British out of Kenya. He came to America in the late 1950s as a student to study at the University of Hawaii. This is where he met Obama's mother, this woman right here.
Stanley Ann Dunham.
Stanley Ann Dunham. They were married. Actually, he didn't tell her at the time he was already married. He had married a woman in Kenya, Kezia. They had 2 children. Ultimately, he married 4 different women and had 8 children. So he was quite a character. He was also a chronic drunk driver. He was involved in multiple accidents. He lost both his legs in one of those accidents.
Hang on a second. I want to make this really clear. Because my mother was an alcoholic, died a tragic death, yada yada. You're not insinuating anything on that he was a drunk or anything else.
No.
This is fact.
It's fact, and I'm getting to it because it created a tremendous trauma in Obama. Okay. Obama idolized his father because his father's image was built in his mind by his mother. His mother said, "Your father is the great man of Africa." And when Obama discovered, hey, my father killed a man in an accident, he was running around with 2 iron legs, he was railing against the West for denying him his ambitions and his anti-colonial dreams. It was a horrible discovery for Obama, and he had to go to Africa to figure out that man.
Okay, I will tell you that so you know America, my mother died alcoholic, everything else, and it screwed me up for many, many years, so I understand why you're bringing that up.
Now, Obama's father ideologically was an African socialist. He was not a pro-Soviet socialist, but he was an African socialist, and he wrote in 1965 an important article in the East Africa Journal. I have the article right here.
Okay.
In fact, it's available on the web. The article is called Problems Facing Our Socialism, and he's talking about what do countries do to overcome colonialism and achieve independence. And he says basically what we have to do is bring down the guys who are at the top because they've been looting us. And second, he says we've got to tax them and we've got to take their money away. The state has to confiscate wealth. And I've picked out 2 quotations that are worth noting. I want to start with the bottom one here. It says, we also need to eliminate power structures that have been built through excessive accumulation so that not only a few individuals shall control a vast magnitude of resources, as is the case now.
Which is, I mean, Barack Obama and many of the people in U.S. labor now, is also, the unions are also saying many things like that.
We hear a lot of echoes of this today.
All the time.
And then he talks about, well, what should the top tax rate be? What should the people at the top pay? And then he has this remarkable statement. He says, well, there should be no upper limit. And he says, theoretically, there is nothing that can stop the government from taxing 100% of income, so long as the people get benefits from the government commensurate with their income, which is taxed.
So these are both facts, right?
That's right.
These are both facts, and you can find them not only in your book, but you can find them. Can you find these online?
You can find them online. This article is available online. This was written by his father.
Okay.
Remarkably, there's been very little coverage of this, even though it does tie in so closely with what the president is doing.
Back in just a second. America, I want to introduce you to a book that you must read. It is available, it came out yesterday. Dinesh D'Souza is the author of The Roots of Obama's Rage. He is the president of the King's College in New York City. You may disagree with the conclusions in this book. I do not. The facts, the White House has been trying to smear it for a while, saying anti-colonialism is nonsense, it's racism, but you will understand in a year's worth of research, we're going to try to jam it in here in the next 28 minutes. So Dinesh is here, and all we're talking first is the facts. Give me the facts. We talked about his father. His father said almost the same kind of stuff when he was over in Africa.
The interesting thing about his father, and this is a picture of Obama and his father when Obama's 10 years old in this picture. It's the only time his father came to visit when Obama was back in Hawaii. And it's interesting because Obama really didn't directly know his father. But he says in this book, Dreams from My Father, that he undertook a lifelong quest, not only to learn about his father, but to make his own values and personality and image in his father.
You know, you said something so interesting to me. The name of this book is not Dreams of My Father, it is Dreams from my father.
Right, Obama's not writing about his dad's dreams. He's writing about the dreams he got from his dad.
Father.
And let me just read a quote, if I may. He's talking about his father, and he says, "It was into my father's image, the black man, son of Africa, that I packed all the attributes I sought in myself." What he's saying is, I took my personality, my values, my identity from this man.
Okay.
And look at Obama. This is, and look how he's holding his father. Now, one of the reasons Obama learned so much about his father is because of his mother.
But his mother married Lolo Soreto.
Right. His father divorced her.
Okay.
But she was enamored by him because he was an anti-colonialist hero, so she married another anti-colonial guy, a third worlder, an Indonesian, whose family had been burned by the Dutch, and she saw him as a romantic substitute for the man who had left her.
Okay.
Lolo Soetoro. She and Obama moved to Indonesia, where Obama lived for 4 years.
Why people can't understand why Obama went to Hawaii. Why did Mom say that Barack should go away? How did that happen?
This is an incredible story. When they got to Indonesia, Lolo Soetoro, who was believed by Anne to be an anti-colonialist, an anti-Western guy, turned out to be more pro-Western and more anti-communist than she thought. He went to work for the Suharto government fighting the communists in Indonesia. He took a job at an oil company. They moved into an affluent neighborhood with a lot of foreigners and expats. And Anne, Obama's mom, by Obama's own account, became very embittered and began to accuse her husband, Lolo, of being a sellout. She said...
Okay, so according to this is not conjecture.
This is not conjecture.
This is, again, fact, and it comes from Obama. And what did Obama write himself about?
Obama said he would overhear loud disputes between the mother and the stepfather, in which the stepfather would say, "Why are you yelling at me? I'm among your people," meaning white people. And she would say, "They are not my people." And in fact, she said to Obama, "Do not listen to this man, Lolo. Listen to this man." In other words, form your personality not through your stepfather, but through your father. He should be your role model.
When he says that, you know, or the argument is made, well, he's both black and white, how can he have a problem with race? You would, and this is the opinion part, you would contend that Mom said, these are not my people. White people are not my people.
Right.
Right?
Ideologically, she rejected them, and in fact, she packed up Obama and sent him away, back to Hawaii to live with his grandparents, whom we're about to meet. And the reason she did that, I believe, is to keep Obama away from this man because he was too pro-Western and too anti-communist.
This is not written by him or anything else. This is your conjecture.
This is my interpretation of why, mysteriously, she packed Obama off and sent him home.
And when he got to Stanley Dunham,
this is her father, Stanley Dunham.
This is Barack Obama's grandpa, and grandpa's just a regular grandpa according to everybody else.
Right.
He put Barack Obama in touch with his now mentor, right? Frank Marshall Davis. So tell me about this relationship.
So the Dunhams, Stanley Dunham and his wife Madeline, they raised Obama. In fact, Obama sometimes says, "I was raised by my mom." Not true. When Obama's mother sent him back to Hawaii, she never accompanied him. She stayed in Indonesia and did anthropological fieldwork. Obama was raised for those 7 years, from 10 to 17, by the grandparents.
Okay.
Now, the grandfather believed that he needed a role model, and a black role model, and they found a black role model in the former communist Frank Marshall Davis, a poet, a radical. He lived in Hawaii at the time, and his writings are available. There's a whole book, The Collected Writings of Frank Marshall Davis. So Obama saw him as a kind of surrogate father. In fact, we know that because Obama writes about him at some length, about the influences of Frank Marshall Davis. Obama doesn't say he was communist, but he talks about the influence.
But he had an FBI file this thick.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay. So then Grandma says, or then we go from Grandpa and Frank Marshall Davis. We're about to meet the other influences in his life, but more importantly, we're about to come to a place where the White House says is racist, and it's anti-colonialism, and you understand anti-colonialism because you were born in India. And you remember your grandfather talking about anti-colonialism.